Well, hello everybody. Time to give you our update where we are here. So we'll start off with the power cord. So you'll see that I did put a new power cord in here. The power cord that was on there was a 2-prong cord and it was in relatively bad shape. And you'll see that I've added a ground wire, right? So I've got a 3-prong cord here, standard, and I have it grounded firmly to the chassis. One goes to this tube and one goes to the power switch. And when I flip this around, you'll notice, but I did replace the audio cable, and this is the shielded cable, and it comes in and one goes here and one goes here. Let me flip this over and I'll show you what that looks like real quick. Okay, so here's the shielded cable, and I put some liquid tape on it because I don't want that touching anything once it's inside the case. And you'll see that I've got a Tolex connector on it. Alright, and then again I have my Tolex connector on here. And I have a Tolex connector on this ground wire right here. So let me connect everything up and then I'll talk a little bit about what I did with the turntable. Be right back. Alright, we're going to start off the phonograph section by a shout out to a new subscriber, Average Joe. And Average Joe on my last video made a very interesting comment which got me thinking. And he said, "Hey Ron, I vaguely recall Radio TV Phono Nut talking about said resistances. If I find the video in the back of my memory, I'll post the link here." So that got me thinking about this for a second, and I said, what happens? It's a different cartridge, different voltage. So I did a little research, and I found out that the existing cartridge that came with the unit 50, 60 years ago was a 1-volt cartridge, and the one I put in was a 0.5-volt cartridge. So alarm bells started to go off a little bit in my head. Let me talk about what I did to fix that. Be right back. Alright, so after a lot of experimentation, on the back of the unit, right here, I removed the 2 resistors and I gator wired and kind of experimented with resistors. And the reason why I did that is because I wasn't getting good volume. So the drive coming out of the cartridge wasn't enough, and I knew that right away when I first started it. But then I read what our friend Average Joe said and said, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. That amplifier is expecting more voltage to come out of that cartridge, and it's not. So I started to play around with the combination of resistors and capacitors, and what you'll see here is I ended up with a combination of a 390K resistor and a 0.01 microfarad cap, just like that. And then that goes to the red side of the cartridge. And then on the negative side, I ended up with a 470K cartridge. Now, resistor. Now, I don't have a decade box, so I had to really, pull resistors out and put it in and see what sounded best. But I actually came up with a fairly good outcome, and the hum is reduced too, which is really interesting. So let me power this thing on, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, radio's on. Let's flip on the turntable. Okay. And we're going to open that door, and we're going to put in one of our famous Spike Jones records, Spike Jones and his City Slickers. You'll hear the hum is very minimal. We're going to put that down. I got some really good volume.
Was Saturday night in an old mining town. Jake's barroom was merry and gay.
Very clear.
While far from the laughter, a mother did wait.
Nice
for
volume.
Pop to come home with his pay.
And very little hum.
What's keeping dear father? Why doesn't he come? The daughter exclaimed through her tears.
Alright, so we're not going to let this go too long here. So the bottom line is that I was able to find the right combination for that cartridge, and I really have to thank Joe for that. That's really cool. And I've got it soldered in right now, and I'm going to leave it there for the time being until I get more towards the end of this restore and decide if I'm going to leave it there or not. But again, just to reiterate, I've got a 0.01 cap on top of a 390K resistor going between the red lead of the cartridge and the black lead of the cartridge. And to look at the schematic, just to show you a reference point, it's right here on the schematic. Right here. Here's the pickup, the cartridge. This is the red wire that comes up to the pot, and this is the shielded wire. So I basically have that capacitor right here. Okay, that seems to be a winner. So electrically, I think we've got the turntable in a good spot, and we have very, very little hum, which is great. Now let me show you what I'm working on next, which is nothing to do with electronics and more about the cabinet. So let me pull that up. Okay, looking at this cabinet, you'll notice that I have the cloth out of here, and I'm left with some woodwork. And you know, looking at the side here, this is all brown paint. Needs a little touch up, and I'll go through this and I'll paint it brown, trying to keep it as unique as possible. I have to clean up some of these paint chips. And then on this bezel here, it's in pretty rough shape, so I think I'm going to clean up this wood. This wood is a little chopped up here. I'm going to have to put some wood filler, and I think I'm just going to paint this whole thing, and I've ordered new decals to put here in these places, so I'm going to do that. This wood veneer is in relatively good shape, so I'm not going to really do much with that. I'll just shine it up a little bit. It's a little chopped up here, but I'll figure that out. And this is more brown. But let me show you some of the insides here, what this thing looks like, so you have a reference point. Let's put this there. So this is the bezel that came out with the cloth. All right, this is actually glued on top of here, just like that, and it screws in with some wood screws here, here, here. And when you take this off, they have a primitive piece of cardboard. I don't know if it was cardboard back then, but stapled to it, and you just put glue. So I'll just use spray adhesive on the new fabric. And let me show you what fabric I ordered. I went to Radio Days, and they've got something very similar. So it's a striped pattern, ribbed, which is pretty close to what was on there, and it's got gold in it. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to look really, really nice. That's exactly what was on there originally. All right, and then let's go look at the dial. Okay, I've got the dial glass out. Needed a good cleaning, but it's in really good shape except for this spot right here. There's a little bit of a chip there. You can see the light through it. But aside from that, it's in pretty great condition. The way that they have this connected is they have these really ancient old rubber bands, which I've been very careful to remove. And they put one here, and they put one here. Then they have this metal rod which goes over this, and that's how it attaches inside, just like that. So that'll be really easy to reinstall. So when I get my grill cloth in, I'll replace that. This part I'll just save for when I'm near the end. My big thing now is going to be reinforcing this cabinet and painting it and making sure that it looks decent. Aside from that, I have a few minor adjustments I need to make on the turntable. The front door that pulls down to insert the record needs an adjustment, and I'll take care of that. But I think electrically I've got this thing where I need it to be. So that's the update from where we are now. I again want to thank Average Joe for his help. That was a turning point for me. It helped me to really get this thing working. I was all ready to go out and get another cartridge. So, you know, paying attention really helps, and Joe, Average Joe, you did a great job of keeping me grounded here, so thank you. All right, that's the update for now. No more electric here, no more electrical work. All my connectors are in good shape. I've got everything marked appropriately, audio, power, ground, right? Simple. Everything's connectable. And we're ready to work on the cabinet. All right, so what I'll do is this week I'll start getting this cabinet ready to prep it. I'll take a video later on this week to show you what that looks like. You all know how to paint, so I'm not going to teach you anything new. I'll mask everything off, try to get as much loose paint off as I can, get some wood filler, and I'll come back and show you what that whole deal looks like. All right, for now, this is Ron. Take it easy.
Shout out to Average Joe.